Most people are looking for the thing that breaks the cycle in all the wrong places because it's not a strategy and it's not a mindset fix. It's something you already have. You just haven't claimed it yet. Welcome to The Shift, which is what I've called this special series here on the Freedom and Ease in Online Business podcast. And I'm going to walk you through the exact process for going from trading your hours for dollars to building real leveraged income in your online service business. I'm your host, Miriam Castilla, business and money strategist. And this is episode 2 of this series. So if you haven't listened to episode 1 yet, go back and start there because it'll make everything that follows land so much better. Okay, let's get into it. So at the end of the last episode, I promised you that what I'm going to share with you today is what actually gets you out of that revolving door. And I told you that it's simpler and closer than you've been led to believe. And I really mean it because it's not a new strategy. It's not a missing piece, not another course, another coach, or another method. What it is a decision. And the beautiful, slightly confronting thing about that is that you've already started making it. Stick with me here because by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what I mean, and you'll probably recognize yourself in this in a way that makes you laugh out loud, or maybe cry, or maybe a bit of both, but it's all good. So let's go. So let me tell you something about the woman who finds her way to this series. She's not a beginner. She's not someone who's just starting out looking for her first client. She's someone who's been at this for a while, who's built something real, who's good at what she does, genuinely, brilliantly good. And she has this voice, this persistent, sometimes inconvenient inner voice that won't shut up, that keeps telling her that she's meant for more than just trading hours for dollars. And that voice, in most cases, has been there for some years through the courses and the coaches and the strategies and the rebrands. And it's what's kept her going. And here's what I want you to really, really hear today. That voice is not wishful thinking. It's not your ego getting ahead of itself either. That voice, that is your inner knowing. And it's been right all along. But knowing you're capable of something and actually claiming it, those are two very different things. And for a long time, the gap between them is where that revolving door lives, right? So how do we fill that gap? What fills it? Well, it's not more information. It's not more proof. It's not more preparation. What's actually missing, that missing link, is a decision. And specifically, a very particular kind of decision. One you've actually already started making, because the fact that you're here still pushing, refusing to give up on that inner voice, going, I don't care what it takes, I'm going to figure this out, that shows that you've already started making this decision. That is the decision, but you probably haven't quite completed the second part of the decision yet. Because you don't have a belief problem. You have an unfinished decision that you haven't made yet. And that's a very different thing. So let me introduce you to something that I call the permission decision. Now, before you roll your eyes at me, stay with me for a second, because this isn't about giving yourself permission in that vague, fluffy, write it in your journal, say 1,000 affirmations a day kind of way. This is about something really specific and really, really powerful, because the permission decision is that moment where you stop waiting. Where you stop waiting for the right strategy, the right numbers in your bank account, the right amount of confidence, the right external sign from the universe that you're finally ready to go, and you simply decide to trust what you already know. Not after one more thing or the next thing, but right now, exactly as you already are and exactly where you currently are. And here's the part most people miss. This is not a one-time thing, right? It's not something you do on a Tuesday afternoon, you cross it off the list and that's the end of it. The permission decision is kind of a way of life. It's an ongoing daily choice to operate from your inner knowing rather than from a place of fear, to trust your inner voice over the noise of the industry that's telling you that there's still something you need to fix before you're allowed to have what you want. And every time you choose your inner knowing over the noise, That's the permission decision in action. And the more often you make it, the quieter the noise becomes. So a really good story I have to share with you on this that I've experienced is when I first launched my certification training for my magnetic money coaches. So these are beautiful individuals who are certified and accredited and licensed to use my IP, my magnetic money management system with their own clients. And I created this really high level, super professional certification training. It was something I was genuinely proud of, something I knew was brilliant, was going to add massive value to their business and to their clients' lives. And I finally launched it really heavily. Like I was really marketing the hell out of it because I believed in it so much. But I got crickets. It was just nothing. No sign-ups, no interviews, nothing. And I had to sit back and go, okay, what am I missing here? Like, what is going on? And I realized that because mentally I had already spent the money, I decided what my target was going to be, how many people I would take into this training, and I knew exactly what I wanted to spend the money on, and I would become very attached to that. And so in every email, in every post, in every conversation, there was like a thread of desperation coming through, like I really need this to work kind of energy. And I was really attached to the outcome, so attached, so focused on what I needed to happen that I was broadcasting the fear of it not happening and that energy of lack in every direction. And so the response mirrored that. And one day I caught myself. I recognized what I was doing. I was waiting for people to sign up to confirm for me that this was going to work and that this was going to be successful and that I would then have the money to spend on the thing I'd already allocated it for. And that kind of threw everything out. So I just stopped. I didn't stop the marketing, but I stopped that inner sense of grasping, of desperately wanting it. I shifted into a genuine state of deep appreciation for everything that I was doing, everything that I already had, knowing that no matter how this worked out, my business is awesome. It's successful. It's highly profitable. You know, it fills my cup. It does all the things that I wanted to do. And that this outcome specifically was not going to be a measure of my success, my worthiness, my deservingness, or even the quality or the importance of the work I was here to do. I gave myself permission to just be okay with whether it's sold or not, knowing that, you know, it will all come out in the wash because I have a great business. And to trust that if it was meant to happen, it would. And guess what happened? Within just a few days, I had this rush of applications and it sold out. The training was full. I maxed out at the maximum number of people I wanted to take, and that was it. And it wasn't because I did more. It's because I stopped pushing and started trusting. And I gave myself permission to have abundance without the attachment that it needed to look a certain way. And that was not a once-off, like this is how I feel my training. This was just me stepping back into this is my way of being. This is how I see myself and my business. I see myself and more importantly, my business as a success, as something that adds amazing value, as something that when the right person comes across it, they go, oh my God, where have you been all my life? And I gave myself permission to allow that to flow as it needed to. And so let me just be clear about something, because I know some of you have just heard the word energy and your left brain started panicking and you're thinking, okay, this is all about manifesting. But it's not. It's not woo. Well, it's a little bit woo, but it's also just reality, because when you actually give yourself permission to allow things in, when you say, I'm ready to let it flow without distracting myself with all these other things, thinking I need to do one more thing or need to do it harder or better or 200 times more. that energy shifts. When you let go of trying so hard or thinking you're not ready yet and that you need more stuff, your energy shifts. And that energy, that's not just a, energy around you thing. That energy actually permeates and touches everything in your life, in your business. And it's not this big obvious thing that you can point to. It's subtle, but it does show up in really tangible ways, in the words you choose in an email, in the tone of your voice in a talking head video. It's whether you show up to your content from a place of, oh, please buy from me because I really need this to work, or whether you show up from a place of, I have something brilliant and I know it, and the right person is going to absolutely love this. People feel that. Your audience feels that. Even if they can't name it or they're not aware of it, they do feel it and they respond to it accordingly. So my strategy hadn't changed when my coaching training sold out and everything switched overnight. The marketing didn't change, but the energy behind it did. And that made all the difference, because that door was never locked. It just was that I was standing there in the revolving door waiting for someone to hand me the key. But there is no key. There's just the decision to walk through and allow the abundance to flow, knowing you've done all you needed to. So here is where I want to speak to you directly for a moment, because I know something about you. I know that you've probably made most of this decision already. That refusal to give up, that's that permission decision. Well, it's the beginning of it, right? The fact that you keep going, that's that permission decision starting to be made. The fact that you're here listening to this going, okay, I get what she's talking about, that's the decision. Resonating with what I'm talking about, going, yes, 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 this is what I've been trying to tell her. So you've decided you're going to figure this out, even if it's the last thing you do. That knowing inside you is just too strong, too loud to ignore. But here's the part that often gets missed. You've decided to figure it out, but have you given yourself permission to actually have it? Because that's the difference. That is the second part of that permission decision. Between working towards something and actually claiming it, allowing yourself to receive it, between believing that it's possible and deciding that it's yours. And that last part, that completion of that permission decision, that's the moment you stop building towards the life and business you want and you start operating as the woman who already has it. Not faking it, not pretending, not acting as if, but genuinely deciding that you know it's real, that what you want is allowed and is meant to be yours, and that you don't need any more pieces of evidence before you can trust in that. You actually start to embody the permission decision. You already know you're ready. You've just been waiting for permission to trust it. So here it is. Here's my permission, but you don't need it. But sometimes it does help to hear it out loud from someone else. The most important thing is that you give yourself permission. You're allowed to have this. You're ready now, not after the next thing, but right here, right now. So that revolving door that we talked about last episode that you get stuck in, you don't break out of that cycle by another strategy or another thing to do or another course to take. You break out of that cycle with a decision, and that decision, you're already at least part way through making it. You just need to complete it. That permission decision isn't something you make just once. It's a way of life. It's the ongoing choice and decision to trust your inner knowing over all the noise out there, over all that clever marketing that keeps trying to convince you you're missing something. Every time you choose you, the noise gets quieter. Every time you choose to listen to your inner voice, everything else quiets down. You've already decided you're going to figure this out. The final piece of that process is giving yourself permission to actually have it, not just to keep working towards it. See the difference there? So remember, the door is never locked. It never was. Now, here's something worth knowing. This permission decision thing, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's shaped by what's running underneath the hood, as I like to say, in your unconscious. And I'm talking about your relationship with money, because that's actually all about how worthy, deserving, and ready to give yourself permission to have abundance, money, success, and all the rest of it you are. So the old stories and patterns that have been driving your decisions, often without you even realizing it, that's the stuff I'm talking about. Because you can try to make that permission decision 100 times over, but if you still have an old money pattern or an old money story, I should say, that's quietly undermining it all in the background, then you're going to keep coming up against barriers. And so that's why today I want to invite you to take my money habit archetype quiz. It's totally free. It's 5 quick questions, takes about 2 minutes, and it shows you exactly what money patterns are prevalent in your life right now, the ones that keep repeating over and over again, because that will help you figure out what the underlying story and unconscious pattern is. And so as you start diving into that, you can start shifting that to start giving yourself permission to have abundance from a clear and aligned place, rather than trying to give yourself permission but still having these underlying invisible resistance patterns going. Right? So the link to take that quiz is in the show notes. Go take it now while it's fresh on your mind. And then in the next episode, I'm going to show you the exact map. I'm going to show you the whole thing, the step-by-step process that takes you from where you are right now, trading hours for dollars, to building real leveraged income. It starts with what we talked about today, giving yourself permission. And then there is a simple process that helps you integrate everything you already have, you already know, everything you are, so that you get real traction. And once you see this process, you'll wonder why nobody showed this to you sooner. So don't miss that one. I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, have a magical day. Bye for now, gorgeous.